Megadeth's recent cover of Metallica's Ride the Lightning is one of the most discussed songs of this year. But the truth is that throughout their career, Megadeth released gazillion of incredible covers on other bands. Some of them remain to be hidden gems of their catalog. So today, let's take a look at all of them. Here you go. Just like pretty much every young band of that era, Megadeth kicked off their career by playing covers on their favorite songs, both at rehearsals and at live gigs. Yet, if most bands abolish covering others completely by the time they're ready to record their debut album, Megadeth actually made it a part of their DNA, and they did include covers on each of the first 3 of their albums. Right at the end of side A of their debut album, Killin' Is My Business and Business Is Good, Megadeth put These Boots, a cover of a country rock song originally performed in 1965 by Nancy Sinatra. Yet Megadeth's version was not exactly a faithful tribute to the legendary song, and it was actually mostly done as a parody, resulting in Lee Hazelwood, the original songwriter, abso-freaking-lutely hating it, later calling those changes vile and offensive and demanding to remove the song from the album, threatening Megadeth with legal action. And Lee actually was kinda successful in it, as These Boots was actually removed from all of the presents made after 1995, except the 2002 re-release with the altered lyrics being beeped. Literally.
These boots will make the walking, that's just what I'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Dave Mustaine later on criticized Hazelwood, saying that just 10 years before the objections, Lee actually got his royalties. And maybe that's why, as a sign of a protest, These Boots actually to this very remain the second most played cover by Megadeth at their live shows, performed 144 times since autumn of 1984 till autumn of 1998. And in true Megadeth fashion, the second album the band released, Peace Sells But Who's Buying, also featured the second cover on it. This time as a penultimate track on side B, I Ain't Superstitious, originally composed by blues legend Willie Dixon, recorded by another blues legend Howlin' Wolf, and released as a single in December of 1961. And yeah, to this very day, this song actually remains one of the most popular and well-known blues rock songs all across the world.
Oh, I'm not superstitious. Black cat across my trail.
Yet, interestingly enough, Megadeth were actually able to make it a truly Megadeth-like song. And even Willie Dixon later on apparently gave Megadeth thumbs up for their rendition of the classic tune, which, if you ask me, is the best compliment Dave Mustaine and company could have ever gotten. And thus we come to Megadeth's third studio album. So Far, So Good, So What? An album on which Megadeth released their most performed live cover song ever, the legendary punk rock anthem Energy in the UK.
I am an antichrist. I am an anarchist.
And instantly enough, just like with These Boots, Dave Mustaine had actually altered the lyrics on that song, although for a completely different reason. As this time, Megadeth mastermind Dave Mustaine simply could not understand what Sex Pistols frontman Johnny Rotten was actually singing on the original. So this time he just went with what he felt was most appropriate, of course also changing the setting from the United Kingdom to the United States. And yet, to this very day, Energy in the UK actually remains to be the most played live cover by Megadeth, performed 540 times from autumn of 1987 till autumn of 2001. And as Dave Mustaine famously explained why the band stopped performing it, was because of the lyrics, I am an antichrist, which, as we all know, for Dave Mustaine being a Christian, were simply unacceptable after he did become a Christian. Although, interestingly enough, Energy in the UK was actually performed live once after that, crawling back into the band's setlist at the Download Festival on June 11th, 2016. Just once. The next song Megadeth covered was on one of the most iconic shock rock songs ever released. Originally composed and performed by Alice Cooper and released on his $1 Billion Babies album in 1973, No More Mr. Nice Guy, which, by the way, was a song about Cooper's mother's church group's reaction to his performances. And so Megadeth's version of No More Mr. Nice Guy was released in 1989 as a part of the iconic supernatural horror movie Shocker soundtrack. Yet, this by no means is a regular song, as to this very day, this actually remains to be the only Megadeth track recorded as a three-piece, and the very first song with the legendary Nick Manza behind the drum kit. Which kinda makes me wonder why the flip it also remains to be one of the only Megadeth covers that they never performed live.
Me, a nice guy. Yeah, right.
Oh, another interesting fact is that this song was originally a split release with another band from the Shocker soundtrack, Dread On, a criminally overlooked Staten Island thrash act that dropped a single album in 1989 and then completely disappeared. Which, by the way, if you never heard of, well, you definitely should. And if you want me to release a special episode on lesser-known thrash metal bands, please drop a line in the comments. I'll be more than happy to do so. By the way guys, super quick, just wanted to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel, so if you still haven't done so, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching here, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. And also here I just want to say thank you to everyone who purchases Metal Pilgrim merch. Guys, it is thanks to you that I am able to release these videos for you guys amidst all the hardships we're going through here in Ukraine. In November of 1994, Megadeth released their sixth studio album, Euthanasia, and less than a year later, in March of 1995, it was released as a limited edition version with a hidden treasures section that actually included two brand new covers, including the yet another cover on the punk rock legends Sex Pistols, although this time on their song Problems.
Won't find me working 9 to 5. It's too much fun being alive.
Yet the main hidden treasure of that bonus is of course the cover on Black Sabbath's iconic song Paranoid, which interestingly enough originally was actually intended for the Nativity in Black, Black Sabbath tribute album released in 1994. Yet, if we're being very honest, this is not what made this cover so popular. But rather, it's rather interesting ending, as it was on this song when the drummer Nick Manza just forgot to end the song, and Dave Mustaine repeatedly yelled his name, resulting in one of the funniest and the most iconic song endings in Megadeth's entire catalog. And who knows, maybe that's why Paranoid remains to be one of the most performed covers at Megadeth concerts, landing at number 3 in the list. And also happens to be the only of the 3 covers that were performed live more than 100 times, with 120 performances from winter of 1994 until autumn of 2005. And then of course one special off performance in Quebec on July 25th in 2010. Yet, as we all know, Paranoid is by far not the only Megadeth cover on Black Sabbath. In 1999, they did their version of Never Say Die from the 8th Black Sabbath album, released in 1978. And once again, this version was actually intended for the Nativity in Black Volume 2 edition, released in 2000s, and was actually performed live by Megadeth only 4 times back in 1999. Oh, and by the way, another very interesting fact is that one of those 3 shows actually happened to take place on September 1st in New York, where Megadeth played 3 more Black Sabbath covers, including Children of the Grave, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and N.I.B., as a part of an all-star jam featuring nobody else but the legendary Bruce Dickinson, Anthrax, and a bunch of other metal musicians in a performance that closed up the TJ Mortal Foundation benefit concert.
Nobody will ever let you go.
In 2007, Megadeth released their 11th studio album, United Abominations, and this record did not only feature the brand new lineup of the band, but also, yes, you guessed it right, yet another cover although to be fair, only on the Japanese version of the album. And it was of course Out of the Tiles, originally composed and performed by Led Zeppelin and released in 1970 on their Led Zeppelin 3 album. Originally, it actually started as a drinking song that John Bonham apparently hummed or even shouted in the studio, which, well, we don't know for sure because so the story goes. But later on, John Bonham actually said that he thought that he actually recorded the drums for it somewhere in a bathroom, and he doesn't even remember how it actually came to be. Which, of course, is a topic for yet another episode. But the bottom line here is that it was simply perfect for Megadeth.
All I need from you is all your love.
The next cover Megadeth did after that was a full-fledged part of the record, as the 14th album Super Collider, released in 2013, ends with a song called Sweat, originally created by Thin Lizzy and released in 1983 on their Thunder and Lightning record.
Cold soul silver, cold soul sweat, running down the back of my neck.
Back in those days, Thin Lizzy were actually one of the heaviest bands around, and it is no surprise that eventually they did become heroes for hordes of young metalheads on both sides of the Atlantic. Which, by the way, there is actually already a special episode available for all of the patrons and all of the YouTube channel members of this channel, so if you still haven't watched it, well, definitely check it out. But most importantly, Dave Mustaine, just like pretty much everyone at Metallica, was of course among those metalheads. And it is no surprise that he did honor his heroes, and he chose Cold Sweat, the song that, as producer Chris Tsangaridis himself later on recalled, was a bit heavy even for Thin Lizzy back in the day.
I've got a whole month's wages. I haven't seen that much in ages.
And thus we come to what is personally my absolute favorite cover Megadeth have ever done in their career. A cover on possibly one of the most iconic, yet at the same time one of the least spoken of album openers in the Judas Priest discography. The incredible Delivering the Goods, which for some weird reason fit perfectly both for Megadeth themselves, which, well, is no surprise given how influenced Megadeth were by Judas Priest, but also for Dave Mustaine's voice. And to be honest with you, I have no freaking idea why the flip Megadeth have never performed that cover live.
Delivering the goods.
And thus, of course, we come to the latest tribute Megadeth have ever done, and possibly the last one they ever will. Megadeth's rendition of Metallica's Ride the Lightning, which I don't think that there's any point in discussing in this episode, since I just released a special dedicated episode to Ride the Lightning and all the bonus tracks, and I'm pretty sure that pretty much every viewer of this particular episode, at least the ones who watched up until this point, have already heard this song. But at the same time, interestingly enough, Ride the Lightning was actually not the only Metallica cover Dave Mustaine did in his career. As on August 11th in 2013 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, they did actually play Phantom Lord from Metallica's debut album Kill 'Em All, together with former Metallica bassist Jason Newsted up on stage. And if you ask me, it was simply a kick-ass rendition of Phantom Lord. 7 more covers which were not mentioned in this episode yet were the ones that Megadeth played live but never actually recorded. And among them was of course the legendary No Class, originally by Motorhead, which Megadeth performed live twice, both in 2012 in Denver, Colorado and in Austin, Texas. 5 other covers were performed live by Megadeth one time each, and were more of a tribute to the bands that inspired this band, including AC/DC's Problem Child, Cheap Trick's Auf Wiedersehen, and of course Diamond Head's It's Electric. In addition to that, there was one cover which Megadeth performed only in an acoustic setting, and that one of course is George Harrison's My Sweet Lord, and also another cover which was a very special tribute to their dear friend, Soundgarden's Outshine, that they performed live on May 18th, 2017 in Tokyo, Japan, honoring the legendary Chris Cornell, who passed away just a couple of hours before that show. Yet the most special cover Megadeth have ever played live was their cover on French national anthem, the Marseillaise.
Again, you're not speaking French!
On November 14, 2015, at Wembley, London, Kiko Loureiro performed it as a solo before the last song, honoring the victims of terrorist attacks in Paris the day before. So I think that's about it. These are all covers Megadeth have ever performed live or recorded in the studio. At least the ones that are worthy of mentioning. And which of those is actually your favorite one? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!